This is absolutely worth the wait. Carly McMenoman is a fantastic comic and human being. And here she is, humans of the audience, Carly McMenoman.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out. I'm not, oh, that was easier. Should do it with both hands though. Ooh. I'm just gonna bring out our host tonight. We are doing the Dirty Comedy Show. So I do ask the comics to bring their funniest, dirtiest jokes. I ran up a flight of stairs to get on stage. I gotta get my life together. I should learn, if I could be as athletic with my breath as I am at breathing through my nose when I suck a dick, I'd feel a lot more comfortable right now. All right, so I'm gonna bring out your host for tonight. He is the 29th best lounge act off the strip in Las Vegas. Give it up for Frankie Jupiter.
Welcome, America!
I'm Frankie Jupiter. This is Carly McMenoman's Dirty Show at Fearless. How are we feeling tonight? Feeling great myself, thank you. Who's their first time here tonight? Who suckered you into showing up? Jason Kruger. Jay? Money, the motherfucking hawk. Can I get a caca? So that's how much they love you. That's how much they love you, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, that fucking guy? Oh, okay. Ha! Right. So, hey, we're going to do some comedy. We're going to do some dirty jokes and shit like that. Who here is easily offended? Anybody? Get the fuck out. But don't forget to suck my dick first. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Unless you can breathe through your nose. Deviated septum's not invited. It's the name of my band, Deviated Septum. Also my first porn, but it was good stuff. All right, so you guys, one person hates dirty comedy, so they came to the Dirty Show, love it. Who here loves dirty comedy? You should probably leave too. That's it's basically me and Carly. I know are gonna wing it up, but we got two other super awesome people who have come up here and do this comedy for you too. Two fast up and comers. You get to see them as well a little bit later. I'm doing some time up front with you, warm you up, loosen you up, like you should before you put things in things. Don't just shove things in ya. Kind of that's how things get backwards and don't work right, and then you have a stigma about a thing which is actually kind of nice. You know what I'm talking about? Butt sex. Let's do this. All right. This clock is wrong. All right. So I travel the road a lot, and I discovered a new act of sexual pleasurements. Anybody into that sexual act pleasurement things? They got the wonderful. Thank you. I discovered the Oklahoma volcano. Have you heard of this? No. Oklahoma volcano. This is when you're getting when a man is getting oral pleasures on the road, usually a back road because cops. And then you hit a pothole or a large bump, and the person performing kind of goes down a little bit further and kind of throws up on your crotch. Twice. Hey, some people are into it. Don't be fucking a kink shaming people, you fucking sack of shit. It happens! You little lighthearts have probably heard about the Ronald McDonald, that wonderful sex movie. Heard of that one? It's where you double fish hook them and force them to say I'm loving it. That one? They're into it because there's fries. I want to record this set for my HBO. What the fuck is happening? Who's got a camera? But hey.
We're streaming this.
These guys are hot. Oh, so should I? Where's the camera? Oh, I should have asked, hey, where's the light so I can see what's happening? Okay. Yelling into the void like my heart. Am I closer? Ah! Oh, you guys are ugly. Turn them down. 3 people laughed, 3 people cried. It's That checks out. That checks out. Wait, I think I have one more sex thing in here for you. You always like, oh yeah, you guys ever heard of felching? Well, it's when a man loves an orifice, which typically shouldn't be loved, but some people are into it. And when that person is done with this orifice, they want a snack. And then they go down into that area, sometimes with a straw, but on a clutch move, they'll just go down, free ball it? I don't know what they call it. I was going to say free basin, but that's not right. You don't want to set that on fire. That would suck. But they get down in there for a snack. You know what I'm talking about? They want a little more protein, which is, I could never do that. I could because of my nut allergy, but like... We're going to party later. Anybody here relate with this one when you're with a special person and they open up their bounty and just sigh heavily? I guess. That's called foreplay. In my mind. So, wait. Which clock is what?
The countdown clock is how much time you have left in your set.
I have 49 minutes left of this shit.
For the whole show. You should
Oh, thank God. Did not bring a big enough card for this. Oh, shit. All right, I have one more for you before I bring up our first comic up here. This one's gentle for you, okay? You guys know that rule about you don't go shopping when you're hungry? Yeah, don't, because you'll buy weird shit. You really will. You'll be like, yeah, I think I need 18 types of croutons for this one salad. That sounds about right. Yeah, that same rule applies to a porn shop as well. Because I now have 5 extra vibrating vaginas I don't know what to do with. At all. I gave one to my grandma. I told her it was one of those scramble the egg shakers. And she's like, what do I do with it? I don't know, put some jelly on it, I guess, with the tube I gave her. Too clean for them, you guys. They want the dirt, okay? You got this? That was the litmus test. They want it dirty. They want it hard. They want it rough. Are you guys ready to laugh at things that might be inappropriate? It might not be dirty, but it will be funny. So please, I want to bring our first comic to the stage for you. She runs an open mic in a store that sells marijuana, so we love her a lot. Please welcome to the stage, Frankie Runquist.
Hello, how's it going? Yeah, a lot of good energy in this room. Wow, awesome. I'm looking for that big dick energy. Am I right, fellas? Anyone? No, big dick. Wow, you guys are modest. You're not gonna brag? Well, I have like that big pussy energy. You know what I'm saying? Like my whole fupas, my pussy, the whole thing. Guys, that's why I wear high-waisted pants. Yeah, and I actually I lost like 35 pounds this year. Thanks, that's all right. But most of it was in my ass. Like rude, right? Like my fupa keeps getting bigger, my ass gets smaller, like a mullet. Party in the front, business in the back. And I didn't say it was like a loose pussy, by the way. Like, you can be big and tight, okay? Just so you know. But, this guy was like, hey, Frankie, like, and yeah, by the way, both our names are Frankie. No one said anything weird. And anyway, this guy was like, yo, I'm more of an ass man, but I'd fuck you in the front. Yeah. I miss back shots, y'all. I miss back shots. I'm 31, by the way. Just had a birthday. And yeah, thanks. And I actually have a 36-year-old roommate. And every man she brings home is a direct threat to my living situation. You know what I mean? Like, she's ready to pop him out. I'm scared, y'all. She's seen this guy for 2 weeks now, and that's the longest she's ever seen a man. I'm like, am I have a place to live? I don't know. So I have to sabotage their relationship. what else am I gonna do? I want her to be happy, but I need a place to live. So, he likes to leave his shoes at the door, and I just like to point them at his car. Just give him a little hint, because I'm Minnesota nice. But you know what? I sometimes do hide one shoe to really test a man. I want to show her, how can he be under stress? Can he find his shoe in a nice way? And so far, it's actually really annoying because he keeps passing all these tests, and he's only becoming nicer to me. And he's bringing me snacks when he brings her snacks, and it's what the hell, dude? I guess you could just have my room, whatever. Just let me join. Let me join. This is not right. Yeah. But I just don't want to go back to my old roommate, which was my dad. Yeah. And my grandma. Yeah, it was, three's company, am I right? But I learned a lot about myself living with my dad. And I learned that I actually don't have daddy issues because he's an 8-time felon. Yeah. I do have daddy issues, though, because I swear to God, he was using my fucking toothbrush. It just pissed me off. So gross. I couldn't prove it, but I'm pretty sure he was using it to brush his tooth. Yeah, it's just gross. And it makes me mad. He has no boundaries or respect, and he'll go and eat all my food in the middle of the night. It's all paranoid. Waking up in the middle of the night, snapping on him, yelling at him. So I kind of trained him to ask permission for things living there. And so one time he came to my room and he's like, "Hey Frankie, is it okay I bring this girl over?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. That's grandma's rule, first off." So even though we're both sneaking people through the windows at night. Yeah, father like daughter, whatever. And he's like, no, Frank, you don't understand. I just got this neck tattoo, and she's coming to help remove it. And I'm like, a neck tattoo? Are you kidding me? Just because my dad has a record doesn't mean he's cool. He's not cool. He doesn't do tattoos very well. He had this barbed wire one on his bicep that he couldn't finish because it hurt too bad under here. Yeah, this tat, I'm like, what the hell? So I looked at his neck tat, guys. It literally was lips, but it was positioned the wrong way. So it looked like a coochie on his neck. He had a coochie neck, had more folds on it than mine, okay? He is something else. And so I really don't want to go back living there. And so I'm like, all right, maybe I should work on my boundaries with my new roommate and, stop trying to sabotage her relationship and stuff like that. But I just, the thing with her is, I can't stay out of her bedroom. I love her room. It's, nicer than mine. And it has, this big mirror, and I just love this mirror. And, when I'm in it, or in her room, I'm, butt-ass naked, sitting on her floor, checking it all out, I just want to know what it really looks like. I want to know what I want to know what everyone else sees, okay? Ladies, do you really know, what is up there? How far? How many folds you have? And, how pink it is supposed to be. What is it, medium well, medium overdone? Do you really know yourself? And to me, I'm like, okay, well, I was looking in the mirror one time. I was like, okay, I probably should go to the doctor. It's a little too pink. I think this isn't normal. I went to the doctor, and they laughed at me, and they said, you have a rug burn on your pussy. And I was like, all right, yeah, I have been just smearing it around my roommate's carpet for hours, marking my territory. Okay, I have to mark my territory. But I do think I am wifey material. Yeah, I really do. I'm 31. And the thing is, a guy did propose to me once, y'all. He did, and this is real. He really did. He was my ex-boyfriend at the time. Well, not at the time. Whatever. But he asked me while he was drunk and coked out, and he took it back the next day. But it counts. It counts. I was a fiance. I was he put a ring on it for a day, And it's okay, you know, like when you meet somebody and you get like this immediate spark, like the initial attraction, you know, you find somebody like, oh my God, right? Like chemistry is just lit. And like, you know, you're just going to, like, you're in trouble. Like, this is bad. And so, you know you're going to fuck them, basically. The first date, doesn't matter. Or it could be like a medium spark where it's like, you could either like them or you could get the ick, you know. And so with his situation, it was definitely that crazy spark. And we moved so fast so after, you know, he proposed to me very quick. And then took it back. Yeah, right. But I found out, I didn't know him that well. He was living with me, and we're like living this life, and I found out he actually murdered somebody. Yeah. So I was engaged to a murderer. So I like to brag about it, just, you know, whatever. But here's the deal is, it didn't happen with me, though. Like, it wasn't during our relationship. It was in his past, guys. Everyone has a past. You know, like, I could fix them. You know? And, like, you know, people be like, why would you stay with him? And it's like, well, if someone's really bragging about killing someone where there's no conviction charge, did they really do it? Right? At this point, like, I'd rather have him be a murderer than a fucking liar. Because that's embarrassing. Who would lie about killing someone? Like, just do it. You know, I don't know. Like, just be a man of your word. Like, that's pathetic, you know? Yeah, so that's rude. But, you know, I'm raising my standards. I started seeing someone. We talk on the phone while he plays video games. You know, that's nice. Like, he's sharing his hobby with me, guys. Like, who? Any gamers in this room? Okay, yeah. Do you talk on the phone? Thank you. Validating that he... It's hard to say that I fully believe that he's good, but... Well, here's the deal. It's nice that he's not really killing real people, first off. And, like, it's nice that he can at least half listen to me. Like, you know... And, you know, at this point, I think he really only plays video games when I call now, because it's like to tolerate my talking. But that's okay. Like, what compromise, baby. And I think it's starting to affect our sex life, though, because like we will be having sex, and like has the glaze in the eyes, like they're not really there, right? So I'm like, hey, what's going on? What are you thinking about? And he's like, I'm just counting strokes. I'm like, what? Like a fucking video game? You're trying to level up to the next level? Like, well, how many did you get to, though? And he's like 50, and then I start over. Like he like respawn, or what's the respawn, or whatever the video term. Like he died and started over. And I was like, well, how many times do you die and start over in your stroke games? And he's like, twice. And now I'm just curious, like, if anyone else counts their strokes and if that's normal. Like, is that a normal number, 100 strokes? And I really should time it out. But I just asked me, like, you know, like, I can't tolerate this no more. Like, can you at least just not wear your headset while we have sex? Can we just draw the line there? I will tell you guys, I do have a party trick. And my party trick is that I can actually masturbate with no hands. Yeah, no, that's real life, guys. You know, I'm proud of it now, but when I was in 8th grade, I was a very religious, horny girl. Yeah, you can't use your hands, you know, that's sin. So it was on accident that I discovered this trick, and I was reading Goosebumps in 8th grade, and I was laying on my stomach, which is very key for this trick. And I'm laying and I'm reading Goosebumps. And I just took a deep breath and I like stretched a little. And like all of a sudden it just happened. I was like, what the hell is that? What was that feeling? Like I had no idea. But I was like, I must do it again. So I spent hours reading Goosebumps, heavily breathing. And I mastered it. Like I can do it anywhere now. Like... Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Yeah, that was real good. And like, to me, I just feel like if I was ever like in a hostage situation and like my hands were tied behind my back and all I had to do was just lay over, just, and I would finish in peace, guys. And the thing with like my body kind of like now my body's like triggered. Like if I lay on my stomach too long, it's like my body knows like I can orgasm. So it's like the feeling like you're about to poop, but you're not there yet. And so it's like also with holding my bladder in too long, like it triggers it. Like so I'm like, the kidnapper would be so confused. Like he'd be like, why isn't she going to the bathroom? I'm like, for the pee-gasms, baby. We are doing some pee-gasms to survive or to die happily. And so I'm not afraid of death now. I'm just gonna go out the way doing what you love. You're just doing what you love. But yeah, I'll let you guys know I am my family's disappointment. Yeah, because I'm the only one that has not gone to prison. You guys, you've been great. That's my time. Thank you. Woo!
Now for Frankie Rehnquist, everybody.
Anybody else's dick move during that set? Wow. You learned things. You cannot be a family disappointment with the no-touch orgasm trick. That ends up on Ripley's, I tell you what, right there. And Pornhub. All right. Also, Frankie's describing having sex with her gamer boyfriend, how he's glazing over, wearing his headset. I'm like, that's over Zoom, isn't it? Like, well, she can orgasm without touching. She didn't care. She still got off. She's happy. Pissed herself, but whatever. And that also explains when she was talking about like marking her house, like she was doing that in the green room earlier. We were like, what's this? What is she doing? Oh, okay, that's just making sure. Dominance, that's what we're telling. Like Frankie's tough. We're pretty sure she's got a knife on her. Don't fuck with her, okay? If you'd like someone to walk you to your car, Frankie will be available. $10. All right. And she also referred to herself as a video game boss. Yeah, okay. Only because she has a knife. I'm scared of her is what I'm trying to say. You guys. I've done this thing before, and one time I did a show. Some jackass came up to me and said, Frankie, there's no such thing as a funny abortion. And which is funny because I didn't bring that up at all. I think I was talking about puppies. And this person just says, there's no such thing as a funny abortion. And I said, look, how about a clown abortion? Because the doctor's down there and they're like, okay, we got this one. And, oh, there's another one. Wait, and another one? And another. Wait, what is this ribbon doing in here? What the fuck is happening here? You know how that finishes? With a cream pie. Boom. All right. You get it. You ever want to tell somebody who does a thing how to do their job better? Like a lot of comics have people come up to them and they say, here's a joke you should put into your act. Typically, hey, here's a joke I saw on the internet you should put into your joke. Here's a joke everybody's already heard. You should use that joke. Have you heard of The Stranger? Yeah. When a person sits on their hand, it falls asleep, and then they choose to pleasure themselves? Have you heard of this thing? Or only one guy? All right. Is it working out for you? Which is your favorite hand to sit on?
I don't like my hands going numb, so I never tried it.
You don't like your hands going numb? Whose hand did you use then? That's a fair question. Are you kidding me? Somebody else's numb hand, you're just slapping your dick with their numb hand?
Yeah, if I'm using someone else's hand, I don't need to do my personal stranger. I have another stranger. Yeah.
So you do admit that you do take strangers' hands and touch so you like hobos, is what I'm getting here, right? You like to hunt down homeless people and they ask you for money and you're like, touch my dick. I need to sit on your hand for a minute before I give you $5.
They are still numb.
You don't need to cup your hand, sir. We're right here.
No, he's that loud.
I could actually hear you less when you did that. Now, what were you saying while I was talking? That's not how it works.
I said he still anesthetizes them so that they're numb.
Yeah, that was implied. Thank you. He's clarifying my joke for you guys. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Well, here's the thing. I did I did my thing, and then I was in Fargo because, you know, the intellects are up there. There's a college, apparently. Maybe even a university, I don't know. And this 4 guys approach me, and they say, Frankie, you need to put the stranger into your act. And I said, what? And then they would explain it to me because it's a ridiculous thing to say. 3 guys say that to me. Then I had a buffer who didn't bring up anything stupid. They just told me I was the 29th best comic they've ever seen off the strip. And then this 4th guy comes up, says, Frankie, you need to put the stranger. And I go, nope, I'm not putting a stranger, because here's what I like to do. I like to sit on my dick till it falls asleep. Then I pleasure myself. I call it the victim. You will not remember this in the morning. Now get out of my van. I like you guys a lot. I want to let you know, too, Frankie's not a bad dude. Frankie likes to travel around with the moons. We like to travel around. Well, sometimes we'll do a lounge act for you. We'll put in some music in here because you deserve things. Working on a bass player coming up here. It should be fun. But when we were going on tour to doing a thing, we thought we should be kind. We should sell some merch. And we thought we need a fun slogan to let people know we're awesome and we're nice. And we came up with this amazing slogan. It was respect all people equally. Because everybody matters, everybody's great. Treat each person the way you want to be treated. Respecting all people equally is a thing that you should do. I don't give a fuck where you're from. Just don't make that an acronym on a shirt that you're trying to sell in mass quantity, because that is a horrible acronym. I had to fire the ape, and we couldn't sell the whistles. Although the whistles made more sense. I respect you! Quit! People come running. Are you guys aware it's not incest if your friend's finger smells like your sister's pussy? That's not incest. You're fine. No, I don't know if Jesus had a sister. I really like you guys a lot. Let me do one more. Oh, here's a good one. So I travel a lot, so I don't have time for kids. I don't. I like freedom because I'm a true American. But one time my little niecey came up to me and she was like, Uncle Frankie, where are your kids? Because she saw all of her other nieces or her little cousins running around, and Frankie didn't have any. And so Frankie had to tell her, my kids are in the latex bag in the garbage. Why? One of them's a doctor. Another one's a serial killer. Are you guys ready for your next comic coming up to the stage right now? This next comic has been making waves all over the stages. A fantastic, wonderful person. It's going to make you laugh a lot. Please welcome to the stage, Gabby. Okay.
I mean, I'm just gonna take it. I love it. What's going on? How are we feeling? Sound like you're having a great time. Woo! Hell yeah! All right. So, anybody hate their dad? Yeah, I can tell. No, I don't, so I can't relate. I'm better than you. No, so a couple years ago, my boss saw my dad because he took my car to go get my car washed, or actually to get the oil changed for me. And when he brought it back, he had gotten it washed, filled up my gas tank, and brought me lunch at work. And my boss saw that, and she was like, "Damn, girl, you're never gonna meet a man like your father." And I was like, "Ooh, you're probably right. Now I'm gay, so." That's the mark, right? It's like if you have a good dad, then you have a good relationship with him. He's somebody you can count on. If you have a great dad, you're gay. That means he set the bar so high, no man is ever gonna touch it, right? But I've noticed if you tell someone that you have allergies or like a food allergy or you're bisexual, the reaction is the same. They're like, prove it. You're like, what? They're like, all right, so you have a peanut allergy. Cool, cool, cool. Does that mean like your lips are gonna tingle or is your throat gonna close? Like, you're attracted to women, but you haven't quite dated one yet. It's like this weird peanut Kinsey scale, and then this naked lady just shows up and hands you a Snickers. You're like, is this a trap? They're like, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Who knows? Who really knows anything? But like 2017 was a really hard year for our family because my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and then I came out to my parents. And so my parents were like, yo, we're praying for you. And I was like, just me? What a, you know, like it kind of just like, all right, where are your priorities? But like I will say, the first woman I brought home, where I was like, this is my girlfriend, you have to accept us. She's a white woman who's a Gemini and a vegan, and so the prayers make sense now, right? You're like, oh, okay. And not because she's white, I want to be clear, but like my mom couldn't get over the vegan part. She was like, okay, so like you don't eat eggs. What about cheese? And she was like, no. And when I brought her home, it was her birthday, and it happened to be Memorial Day that year, and we had a family barbecue. And so it's like, you know, she couldn't really eat much. My mom was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll just, you know, make you a plate of green beans. But of course, it was like cooked in like bacon juice. So the girl was like, oh, I can't eat it. My mom was just like, I don't understand. I don't agree with this lifestyle. And my dad was like, it's your birthday. He's like, you're a Gemini? And which, again, to me was very surprising because he's this 70-plus-year-old black man from Mississippi. So I'm just like, bro, like, where did you learn so much about astrology? Is that what they were teaching in the Air Force? Like, for you to have such strong feelings about Geminis, you're just like, yeah, I don't know. So my advice, if you're thinking about, you know, maybe dipping your toes in the rainbow pool, if you haven't already, definitely date somebody that your parents would hate. Do that first. Set the bar super low. So then the next person you bring home. So then after that, I started dating black women who happened to be Leos like my dad. And he's like, yeah, there we go. That's our girl. We raised her right. And he's like, you know, Leos are good people. And I'm like, all right, Dad. That's good to know. Thank you for that. But I do think a lot about, you know, like family and bringing honor or dishonor to your family, right? Like my mom's a former teacher. My dad used to work on a hotel on the Strip. And, you know, I wonder if people, like if your parents are a dentist, if you get a cavity, does that bring like dishonor to the family? Is it like, how could you ruin our good name? I feel like it's probably the equivalent of being a Kardashian and then just not having a baby by a black guy. It's like, how could you we had a plan. How could you let us down like that? Like, we've laid it out for you. What else are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to make this money? You know, like, it's just things you have to think about. Family is important. It's everything, right? But I also think about things that, like, you know, I used to be or consider myself a germaphobe, and like pre-COVID, because I'm not like the other girls. But like when I would get apples from the grocery store, I have to wash them super thoroughly. I can't just like put an apple in my mouth, right? Like that's nasty to me, because you don't know where that apple's been. It's been, other people have touched it. It's been on trucks, all this stuff. But I did used to raw dog Tinder dates back in the day. And like so being a germaphobe doesn't necessarily go across the board is what I'm trying to say. So if someone tells you they're a germaphobe, it's like, you should explore more, like ask more questions. Like, no, what does that really mean? Like here, everywhere? All orifices, really, you should find out. But Pornhub, we know it, we love it, yeah. What kind of porn do you watch?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
But you're here at this show? Okay. Was this entrapment? Or were you like, I didn't know what this was about? I thought they were gonna be mud wrestling and Okay, that's cool. I love this for you. Well, this is going to be enlightening for you. I generally prefer to watch amateur porn because it feels more realistic and less, I don't know, aggressive. But the problem is, amateur porn, the titles are like very specific but very out there. It'll be like, met this hoe at Wendy's and fucked her in my best friend's car. And it's like, saw this big titty bitch getting slobbed down at Walmart. You're like, this is a bit much. And so I was like, all right, I want to search something that's a little more specific to me and my interests. So I type in my zodiac sign, right? And nothing came up, which I was like, yo, that's a big hole in the industry, you know? Exactly, yeah, you go home tonight, I dare you. But I realized, like, if they were to take that opportunity, I think it would make sense, right? So if I type in Capricorn, then like the backstory, because I'm invested in the backstory. You don't really get that with amateur porn. But it's like, all right, Capricorn CPA, which is like, all right, Capricorns, they're ambitious and reliable, fucks a Taurus on a yacht. It's like, that also makes sense because Taurus, they do enjoy luxury. And obviously they'd be using the Capricorn's money to get there. Tell me more. Yeah, like this is a story I could get behind. This is the fantasy that I want to see play out, in real time. But I've also noticed that when people talk a lot about big dick energy, right? We've all heard that term. Yeah. And big dick energy, I want to be clear, it's genderless. Anyone can have it, men, women. Who do you think has big dick energy besides what's his name? Davidson. That's kind of how it originated or allegedly. But when you think of big dick energy, who comes to mind? Keanu Reeves. Okay, yeah, I could see that. I realized that I'm only attracted to women that have big dick energy, and I think the type of energy that is drawn to big dick energy, I realize is ruin me energy, and I definitely have it. I meet these women and I'm just like, yeah, girl, you could ruin my life, and I hope you do. And I'm always like, no, I have leadership skills, because there's the two type of people, right? It's people that think they would lead a cult and people that were like, I would join a cult probably, right? I used to think that I'd be a leader, but then I meet these women and I'm like, you're right, the earth is pretty flat. Tell me more about it. Yeah. I'm listening and learning. Yes, absolutely. But there's the stereotype about lesbians in comedy where it's all we talk about is mental health and U-Hauls and eating each other out. And I'm like, whoa. Don't put me in a box, right? I like to believe that I'm a complex person and my comedy is layered as well. But I was eating this woman out and it was pitch black, and normally I'm a person who prefers a little mood lighting, right? But it's familiar territory. I know my way around here. So I'm getting after it, and then there was some extra fluids introduced into the mix. So, I'm feeling good, right? Badge of honor, achievement unlocked, right? I'm on an oral excavation, and I just struck gold. Fantastic. Yeah, so feeling good, and then a couple minutes later, there's a tap on my head, and she's like, pineapple. I was like, yeah, no, I could tell, maybe mango too. She's like, no, pineapple, and I forgot that pineapple is our safe word. I'm like, we should probably change it to something less tasty, like rutabaga or something, right? So I get up, go to the bathroom, flick the light on, and then there's just blood everywhere, all over my face, and I was like, oof. And I'm anemic, so I could use the extra iron. So I was like, all right. So I poked my head out the bathroom. I was like, babe, what's your blood type? And she was like, AB positive. And I was like, ooh, don't tell me how to feel. So, I do a little test, and I realized, well, we got some heroes in the house. Somebody donates blood. Yeah, hell yeah. But I realized, I was like, oh, this did not have the usual zest of a uterine lining. it was me. I got a bloody nose while I was down there. And I didn't really know what to do in that situation because this was never covered in the lesbian handbook, right? Like maybe in the Ellen DeGeneres version, not the Wanda Sykes version I got. And I was like, oh, separate but equal doesn't work. This is what they were talking about. And I'll admit, like if it was in the handbook, I wasn't the best student. So I didn't read it super thoroughly. I mostly just fingered through it. And of course, this happened on her all-white winter duvet, so now it looks like a crime scene and I'm the perp. And most people after sex, they just want like a cigarette, right? In that moment, I just wanted a bag of spinach and some wet wipes and some Flintstone vitamins with iron because I had lost a lot in this interaction. Mostly my dignity, but that was long gone. So I was just like, okay. Because things that you should disclose before, having intimate, sexy time or STDs for sure. Maybe asthma, but I didn't realize like chronic nosebleeds was on the list. So my advice is if you're gonna go home and have some special time with somebody, sure, turn those lights down, but crank that humidifier all the way up. Because that is not the time to find out that it's dry in there. And most of the time, I just went home and all I could do was journal about it. And most of the time my journal is actually pretty boring, pretty dry. But that day I was like, yo, we gotta switch it up and write it as like a juicy erotic novel. Kind of with the hopes that like my grandkids will find my journal one day and be like, damn, grandma was a hoe. And I'll be like, yeah. Unless I die tomorrow, my parents find it, they're like, damn, our daughter was a hoe. I know, but I'm, working on being better, right? Less hoish this year. And part of that is, manifesting things. So you over here, I can't really see you, but I'm just assuming that there's a person. That's where the laughter is coming from. What do you want out of life this year? What are you trying to manifest in 2023? Marriage. Ooh, okay. And what is your name? James. All right, James. Well, it's empty now. But all right, James. But like, James, the thing that I've realized is that my manifestation is actually very closely tied to my masturbation. So I was, having some me time and thinking about a woman from my past. And I, open up my DMs on Instagram the next day, and there's a message from her, and I'm like, well, yeah, I didn't realize this was a feature. So I was like, you know what, maybe I should be using this power for the greater good. So James, when I go home tonight, this one's for James. Yeah, this one's for James and the marriage of his dreams. Because I'm tired of being selfish, right? Like I'm a giver trying to be a better person. So you all have been so fun, so fantastic. The show's only gonna get better from here. Thank you all. You have a great night.
Gabby, okay, everybody. I'm just surprised she saw my porn. That's all I'm saying. I also thought she was part vampire there for a little bit until I realized it was her nose that got broke. Whatever. But Gabby, okay, everybody. She's fantastic. All right? You guys, we got one more comic for you tonight, and she's the dirtiest bitch you've ever met. Okay? But I mean like in the nicest way. This is the only person I know who can take a shower and still be dirty coming out. You know what I'm talking about? Like she worked directly with Louis Anderson. Louis said, you should work clean. Saw her act and said, no, fuck that shit. You stay dirty, bitch. Yeah. And she runs the Carly McMenoman Dirty Comedy Show at Spring Street every second Saturday of the month. You should come on down and check it out. It's easy and fun. So but please give me a loud round of applause for our host, producer, janitor, Carly McMenoman!
Give it up for Carly, the chick that gets winded if there's not a dick in her mouth. What? The exact quote from Louis Anderson was, you need to say twat more. So, and it did. I like that Gabby mentioned watching porn. I got into that later than you would think based on interacting with me. It was just such a weird emotional conundrum for me because I'd watch it and I'm like, man, I wish I looked like these chicks, but I'm still horny. Or the other one where I'd be like, I'm gonna look up some big girl porn, and then I'd watch and be like, oh, I look like these chicks, but I'm still horny. Like, porn is... My nephew just turned 21 and I invited him to a party at my house, and he decided to tell me about the first time he looked at porn. And I remember the story from when my sister discovered it. My nephew was 8. Yeah, but it's not as bad as he searched naked boobies in Google. And my brother-in-law was like, oh, fuck, we got to do damage control. He's like, I need to tell him, like, this is not a normal sex life. Like, I don't want him going off into the world expecting to piss on chicks, right? Like, it usually doesn't happen in high school, you know? It's really gonna fuck up his development. So he finally told us the porn that he saw, right? 13 years later. And he was like, yeah, it wasn't anything like weird. He was like, it was just like a woman who was laying on her back and then the camera was at like her knees and she was like butt-ass naked because he searched, you know, naked boobies. And the camera's just like straight up her body. And he says he's 8 years old and he's like, that's what that looks like? Did she get hurt? Why am I rock hard right now? And I was like, that is the best way ever to describe sex, right? This smells weird, it's sticky, but I'm super into it. Get me stickier, right? Yeah, so porn was an interesting discovery because it was probably like in my mid-20s, I actually started like enjoying it and not having some weird like emotional meltdown. But the first thing I noticed is that like, I learned that when a man makes this noise, oh, it's not because he's mad at you. It's like the same noise he makes for football and for fucking everybody. And I get it, you guys might be wondering like, wow, how can you think somebody is mad at you while they're inside of you? But you don't know my fucking childhood. Okay, that was a little too dark. That was a little too dark. All right, I can pivot. Who got fucked up on St. Patty's Day? No one. Cool. I, on the other hand, I fucking love St. Patrick's Day. I was so excited for it this year that last year I started shaving my bush into a shamrock. Now, I say last year because I started it in February of last year. I haven't had a bush in like 22 years, right? Yeah, it's been a while. So I was like, oh yeah, if I just start in February, I'll treat it like Movember, and I'll have a illustrious fucking 4-leaf clover on my fucking fupa, right? So it didn't take a month. It was just like nothing after a month. I was like, all right, I guess we're fucking keying up for 2023. So I've just fucking let her buck now for a year. And it turns out, you guys, I just don't grow thick enough pubic hair. Yeah, I didn't know that because I haven't had it since puberty, right? Yeah, so I was like, this is not good because after a year, it was just like, my pussy, which has not seen sunlight since there's been hair on it, basically. And then just like 7 long black hairs. Yeah, it was not good. I was like, this looks like the back of a lab monkey's skull. I was like, it's not gonna look any less like that after I dye it green either. I wet the bed last night. No, it's okay. He asked me to first. Woo! Yeah, he was like, you be the lifeguard and I'll be the helpless jellyfish victim. I was like, yeah, we can do that. That's cool. Right, because we ripped the nun costume last week. Did you guys know that if you show up to a dry cleaner with a nun costume that's all covered in jizz and has a big hole ripped in the back, the story just tells itself? Unless you drop it off wearing a different nun costume. That is the most confused I've ever seen a Korean man. It's not a racist thing. I just keep track of people's races because, as Gabby mentioned, I do like to dip my toe into the rainbow pool of fun, and I'm missing most of the Asians. Come at me. I just need to travel more. It's weird, too, because I love their food. Maybe that's why I'm not getting it as much. I don't know. It's just a weird conversation at a sushi bar, right? You get him sound like it's gross, but like my pussy, it's so high end that when I get dirty, it doesn't smell like tuna, it smells like fucking lobster. Yeah. When I come, it's fucking ramoulade. That joke used to be au jus, and then I dated a chef who was like, au jus is not a fancy sauce. Stop using that unless you're gonna do a roast beef joke. I was like, well played, chef. I did have sex recently that resembled the opening scene from the movie Twister. Yeah, it was just like me in a nightie, just like screaming, fucking sweating, just like, ah, right? And then this guy is just like, oh, I can't hold it any longer. And then he immediately left. All right, so we got a couple of minutes left. You guys want me to try my new joke or just keep going with the stuff you've probably heard before? New joke? All right, so as you might have assumed by now, I've had a lot of HPV. Like a good amount. Oh, fuck, how do I even start this joke? That's weird. Just sort of blacked out there for a minute.
Is this the one about lasers?
Yes, it is. I went to my gynecologist. Right, I remember how I started now. Let's back up. Let's forget the last 20 seconds. It's 30 seconds. My boyfriend told me that he'd eat my ass more if I didn't have HPV. And I was like, you're not the first man to tell me that, but you are the first one to tell me that while I have health insurance. So let's get crack-a-lackin', right? So I went to my gynecologist, like just the regular guy, like the one that, like he knows my dog's name and I don't always shower before the appointment, right? Like the regular guy. And he's down there and he goes, gonna have to refer you to the specialist, I'm sorry. Yeah, first of all, I never want to hear somebody say, I'm sorry when their face is in my chotch. It's just a firm fucking rule. Nor do I ever want to tell someone sorry. It's just a mutual thing. It's a respect, I guess. Also, I was like, I thought you were the specialist. And he was like, no, ma'am, you need to leave this Walmart immediately. Right. So they refer me to the specialist. So just for anybody keeping track who might work in insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield at this point in the story is in $2,000 for how hard I partied in my 20s, right? Yeah, Blue Cross Blue Shield at the end of the story will spend so much money on my pussy that it's astonished I haven't let it fuck me in the ass yet. So I go to the specialist, and it is very similar, like remember the game Operation? Yeah, it's like that, but he can hit the edges as much as he needs. The specific procedure I had to get done was called laser vaporization of the vulva and perineum. And I was like, I really appreciate you only calling out my pussy and my taint in this. Right, because it was like the whole thing, right? Like, tailbone to fucking belly button. Like, I partied, right? Like, you guys, I raw dogged Dustin Diamond 10 years ago. Like, I fucking partied. It was a very bad idea, and he is not the one that gave me HPV, though. Right? I'm at this doctor appointment, and he played Halo against my pussy. It was fucking gnarly. I don't remember the second tag for that. So this procedure knocked me down for a full month. This was during the pandemic, right? This is the perfect time that I can have this happen. It's like 6 weeks where you can tell if I go anywhere, like just by my body motions, that like, best case scenario, people will be like, the chick got hammered from behind, right? Because I literally just had to walk. Right? I couldn't leave the house unless the place I went had a bidet. Right? Yeah, you guys, I basically got LASIK on my brown eye. Except the difference is you can wipe your eyes a week after you get LASIK. Right? My dad kept calling me to hang out, and I had to keep coming up with these weird excuses. Side note, my dad has a severe anxiety issue. Yeah, so after twice of me telling him I don't feel good, we can't hang out, he's convinced I have COVID. Yeah, so after a while of him hassling me about like diabetes and hand washing and like coughing, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, OCD. And I finally just told him, you know what, Dad? It's not respiratory. I just had some surgeon slough all the mistakes of my 20s off of my fucking junk. And he was like, we can hang out later. So I had to go for my final appointment with this doctor. And he was like, oh, I retire today. It was my last day. And I was like, damn, I had a lot of HPV. I even put you out of a job. Sorry. Right? So this whole time, I haven't even seen this man's face, but he's been in my pussy more than anybody else. Right? And I'm like, this is the most educated man I've ever had in there. Cool. Right? So he is like, we're going to make sure this is gone. The last thing I do in my gynecological career is to make sure you're done dealing with this. And I'm like, oh, you like eating butt too, bro? Cool. So I'm in the stirrups, and it's the brightest room that I've been in since the pandemic, right? And he brings in two nurses whose sole job, right, while I'm in the stirrup is each one has to grab me and just spread open my pussy and my ass, right? While he brings in another light, right? Like, oh, there wasn't enough in here, and shines it just right in there. And I don't know, I'm uncomfortable at this point. Like, even for me, this is a lot. So I'm like, wow, it sure is nice to finally do this in a medical setting. Yeah. Next, you guys, if you ever have somebody putting something into your vagina and two other people holding your shit open, don't make any of them laugh. It's really gonna fuck up your afternoon. All right, well, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Thank you for coming to this festival. Thank you for the time. Give them all of your money. Anything else? Okay.
No, that's good. Everyone give it up for Carly McMenoman and the Dirty Show.